Praise be to Jesus Christ and welcome to Catholic Forum. I'm your host, Deacon Jim Thorndale. I'd like to welcome all those who are joining us on public TV and those who might be joining us on podcast. We're having a conversation today about something kind of unique in the Catholic Church. It's an understanding of the richness of our Catholic faith and the richness we have in the United States, really being shared with other parishes throughout the world, particularly those across the ocean. And it's an understanding of having a sister parish. And a sister parish is one that's being supported by a local church here in the United States, and it's really an outreach and a ministry and a missionary position that we take very seriously. And tonight I have three people who are joining me who are very intent on serving in these mission churches. And I have Mark Bonham with me and Maureen and Jim Townsend. It's nice to have you here, Mark.
Thank you, Deacon.
Maureen and Jim, nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You know, this is rather a unique concept for some Catholics, really about this understanding of a sister parish. Explain a little bit of that. What does that mean to have a sister parish?
Well, in our experience, Catholics have a long tradition of working for the sick, working for the needy, taking care of those less advantaged, but usually in a more broad way, okay. Giving funds in a broad way.
Sure.
The sister parish offers an opportunity to find an area with very great need and create a relationship between those two parishes that's more than just writing checks.
Okay.
It's providing personal support and love. It's exchanging visitations. It's building personal relationships so that they feel not only the benefits of our financial help, but also our spiritual support.
Okay.
And I've found it to be very rewarding.
Okay, so in many ways, it's a mission, as a missionary, really reaching out to people who are in need through our Catholic churches that we can help in this walk with them. Let's get a little background first so people know who you are. Mark, tell us, how did you get involved in this sister parish?
Well, St. Paul's had a relationship with two parishes
okay.
in Haiti for a couple of years, and then in 2009 I thought, I had been doing things like God's Kitchen and other things to
sure.
try and help, but this sounded like it would be very interesting and a way to get at the people who are the most needy in the Western Hemisphere.
Okay.
So in 2009, I went on our parish trip. I was blessed to go with Father Ernie from St. Paul's, who added a wonderful perspective and element to the trip.
Yes.
And as I think my friends will say, once you go, you're hooked.
Yeah.
The love that the people have, the beautiful children, and the overwhelming need that's there just all pulls you in to make you want to do everything that you can to provide support.
Let me ask you something. I'm going to ask both of you too. When you were there, Mark, did you realize how blessed we are in the United States?
It's an otherworldly experience. I've been fortunate to travel the world a little bit,
yeah.
but I've never been to the third world before. And until you've been there, pictures don't do it justice. You just have to feel it and see it and smell it and talk
yeah.
to the people. And
yeah.
the need is so intense. And then I can still vividly remember the first time coming back to all this wonderful, comfortable life that we have, and it's really hard to adjust.
Yeah, yeah. Maureen, how did you get involved? You and your husband, how did you both get involved in this? Share that with us.
When I first started, I guess, like Mark said, the first time I went to Haiti, I went on a cruise ship. So I was looking at it from a luxury cruise ship from a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And I was really taken by the children. And I think seeing all the poverty, number one, but realizing that the children themselves, they don't feel like
yeah.
they're being, that they're missing anything.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't have.
No,
yeah.
and
yeah.
the outpouring of love that they show to tourists, it's like I just wanted to bring them all home and see what I could do to help. And then when we had the opportunity, our church was looking into a parish twinning program.
Okay.
Jim and I were later approached to take over the program in early 2000.
Okay.
So we've been working with it ever since
Wonderful.
then. It's been very, very rewarding.
Jim, what was your first experience with it? How was your first experience? Same? Were you on the same cruise ship?
No. As a matter
Didn't
of
know him then.
fact, I didn't go to Haiti until last February, a year ago in February. We had some very good friends that we had known them from outside of the Haiti community, and they were killed in an auto accident when they were working down there through their sister parish and trying to help on a medical mission. And I decided that I really not only wanted to be involved, like trying to help out in our church, sort of heading the thing up, if you will. But I really wanted to go, and I knew Mark was going down, and I knew he was going out to the island where our sister church is. So I called him up, and he was able to fit me and my daughter in.
Wonderful.
It kind of the last minute. And
How old is your daughter?
21.
Was it an eye-opening experience for her?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think she knew a lot more than most kids did when she went down there about what the situation was going to be like. But, you know, one of the things that Mark had prepared us for is kind of like the re-entry. You hear about astronauts coming back, you know, and they have to re-enter, and it was kind of like that. He said, when you get back to the airport in Florida, you're just not going to believe it because it's such a transition in such a short period of time, and it was kind of startling. Yeah.
Maureen, I would think you would have had that experience coming off a luxury cruise ship, walking in Haiti, and then returning back to this beautiful vessel where you had all the meals you want, the food you could possibly eat.
Water.
Yeah, water is one of the biggest things. I mean, just walking around the city when I in Port-au-Prince at the time, and realizing the little, the small huts. Really, back then, everything was a dirt floor.
Yeah.
It was incredible, but it was still beautiful.
Mark, when you say water, do they have to haul their water? Do they have wells? What's primarily are they doing there?
Access to clean, fresh water is a huge problem in Haiti. Virtually all of the rivers are polluted to where you can't drink from them. Sometimes there are springs, and they'll truck in spring water. Increasingly, they're beginning to build reverse osmosis purification plants to provide water.
Who's providing those?
There are missions that do it, missionary companies that do it.
Michigan.
Okay.
Increasingly, the government is starting to be functional in this area and build water plants. But it's a daily search and struggle for water, and waterborne illnesses remain a huge problem in Haiti.
I would think so. I mean, all the bacteria that would be in them, because there's a lot of raw sewage, I'm sure, going into the waters around there. Yes. Did any of you get ill while you were there?
I've gotten ill at the tail end of a trip. Sometimes we take some medications to avoid that kind of a GI kind of a problem. And so I got ill once, but the other times not. We aren't really at risk for the more serious illnesses, so it's more of an annoyance for us than anything else.
So you've tied into each of you had tied into a different sister parish within your church. You're at St. Paul the Apostle, and what's the name of your sister church?
We're actually paired with, it's a little bit of a complicated answer, St. Louis de Montfort Parish up in Port-au-Prince we've been partnered with for a long time. Father Roosevelt had been out on the island of La Gonave at St. Louis King of France Parish, which is their partner parish. He moved to the mainland to Saints Jude and Simon Parish, and we kind of followed with him because we had a stronger relationship with Father Roosevelt.
How big would a parish like that be in Haiti?
Oh gosh, a priest's responsibilities are mind-boggling in Haiti. They'll have 40 to 50,000 people in the area that they're responsible for. They'll have their main church, and they'll have chapels anywhere from 4 to 10 or 12 chapels in outlying areas.
And that priest is responsible for all of those?
He's responsible for all of it.
One priest.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Their lives are very, very difficult.
Yeah, I would think so. That is truly a service of the Lord to serve in that type of situation. What sister parishes are you tied with at your parish?
Well, our answer is interesting too, in that what has happened since Pope Francis has come on the scene. I don't know how much you know about what he's done, but one of the things that he's done is appoint a cardinal from Haiti. And it's, I think, prompted some shakeup in what's going on down there ecclesiastically. And the island of La Gonave, where we help out, was traditionally 2 parishes. It was split into 2 parishes. Since Pope Francis came in, it has now been split up into 5. And there's a church in Virginia that also helps out with the church that we helped out with. They continue to help out there. We have moved on to one of the new parishes that's up in the mountains. And the priest that we're dealing with now it's incredible. He has absolutely nothing. I mean, he doesn't have any place to live. He doesn't have a refrigerator. He doesn't. It's really pretty amazing.
So they're truly servants of God out there, just living by day by day. How many people would he be ministering to?
I don't know. I can't tell you for sure. I mean,
He's
I can
still
tell you.
working on the numbers.
Oh my God.
I can tell you when there are about 75,000 people on the island, and it was split up into 2 parishes.
Yeah.
So that number would be commensurate with what Mark was talking about 40,000.
Yeah.
Now it's being split up into 5. The area where our new sister parish is much more remote and much more sparsely populated.
Yes.
So I can't tell you for sure how many people are up there. I'm going to find out next February when I go down on another trip.
Okay,
But
you're going in February.
yeah.
Are you going also with them then?
No, I'm staying home, and my other daughters, they're all fighting over going, but he didn't want us all to go at the same time, so.
We've had a number of people from our parish go down, but when I posed the idea and wanted some more people to come forward to go down, I was really surprised. I mean, I've got about 20 people that are really interested, and I don't even know if we can take that many people down.
And the people who want to go would pay their own way, correct?
Yes. Correct.
I mean, this is expense they incur.
Yes.
They do this
It's
for.
not anything that's
can I
paid
make a
for by
point on
our
that?
Absolutely, please.
I think this is really important to understand. I've found through the years in charitable giving, people are more than willing to be generous, but they really want to know that their money's going to the need.
Yes.
Nobody wants to pay the expenses. So we've set up at St. Paul, and I think you're doing the same thing. Every dime that our parishioners donate goes to direct benefit to the Haitian people.
Wonderful.
We pay our own trips. We pay for all the expenses of shipping anything. We pay for the expenses of wire transfers. Every dime goes to direct help. And once we've done that, the generosity is just overwhelming.
I would
it truly
imagine.
is.
When people see that type of outpouring of the Spirit that you're doing, it really compels people to understand that the children of God need that help. So when you return from Haiti, do you have the opportunity then to speak to your parish about your trip? Do your priests allow you to get up and speak about these trips? How is that absorbed? How is that taken in when you have the chance to speak to your parishes?
We've done it various ways over the years. You know,
Okay.
we've had a number of trips going. Sometimes we'll have one of the newer members who went speak. We put pictures up because pictures are so powerful to tell the story. And they just share a little bit of their experience. We're very blessed with Father Ernie Schneider that he's so personally involved. And he often will do the speaking himself.
Okay.
And he keeps our parish updated on our parish ministry in Haiti on a regular basis.
Now, Father Ernie doesn't go on every trip.
No. He went on one, and he was wonderful.
Yeah.
Especially in the outlying areas, they don't see American priests.
Yeah.
They don't see priests that don't have dark skin.
Exactly.
It was like the Pope coming. It was pretty impressive.
Oh my gosh, how they had to be really taken back with Father Ernie.
Oh yes.
Oh, wonderful.
It was a beautiful experience to watch him co-officiating at Mass with the Haitian priests.
Yeah, how wonderful. When you come back from your trips to Haiti, did you have a chance to speak to your parish?
Yes. Matter of fact, Maureen and I together did a presentation primarily for the people that are really interested in going down.
Okay.
But we had a lot of other people that sat out there and looked at all the photographs that we showed. And as Mark said, you know, photographs really convey something that is difficult to do in words.
It goes right to the heart of what it is.
Yeah.
Because you can see the deprivation, the poverty in those pictures that you can't explain, because words can't explain what you see. Right. And the chance I've had to travel, I've seen that poverty, and it's just overwhelming at times to think how we see that and how we view what poverty is in this country.
Yeah.
And we don't really know poverty in this country.
Not like they experience
We just
it.
don't have that sense of it. So as you go into Haiti, and how long will you typically be there?
A week to 10 days.
Yeah, my trips have been largely a week.
Okay.
And it's a difficult week because we've traveled to 3 parishes.
Okay.
On
How
several
do you
of those
travel
trips.
there?
Oh, planes, trains, automobiles, and
Automobile.
donkeys.
You name it.
You name it. Especially the island of La Gonave, it's very difficult to get to.
Okay.
Just on a broad basis, road travel in Haiti is very difficult. The roads are horrendous. Most of the roads outside of the major cities are just dirt.
Okay.
And the roads in Port-au-Prince are very rough. So just getting anywhere is an ordeal. Getting out to the island requires a boat trip across the Gulf, which is it's a challenging trip.
Yeah.
Everything about travel in Haiti is difficult. We tell people that going in.
It's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice, but you know, we go back to our comfortable lives. We can live with it for a few days.
Yeah.
And then we fly up to Port-au-Prince to visit them. There's a nice flight into Port-au-Prince.
Okay.
But once you're there, then you can do your work.
Okay. Were you there for 7 to 10 days also when you were there?
I wasn't, no. Jim was there.
You were there for, how long were you there, Maureen?
I was only there for a day.
Just for the day?
Yep.
Are you ready for one of those longer trips?
Oh, I am. I am.
Where, and the reason I'm asking these questions too is for the people who are watching tonight, I want them to have a sense of what it means to go on a trip like this, what it means to really engage in their parish, if they're being, really, if the Spirit is starting to draw them into this understanding of going to a sister parish. I want them to have a clear understanding of what they're getting into, but it's a clear understanding of really going on a mission trip, really serving God's children and His people. When you go there, where do you stay?
Well, maybe I could just run through real briefly kind of how it goes. Generally speaking, everybody flies into Port-au-Prince because that's the main airport, that's the main city in the country. You'll stay in Port-au-Prince at what's called a guest house.
Okay.
There are, and any given day, there's thousands of missionaries flowing through Port-au-Prince out into the country. So we'll stay there overnight, and then the next day we'll get up and we'll go. We'll either fly to Port-au-Prince.
Let me interrupt. When you say thousands of missionaries, we're talking all different denominations.
Correct.
All kinds of churches, medical schools, dental schools, you name it. They're all there.
Okay.
Then we'll fly, say, up to Port-au-Prince, and Father will pick us up at the airport. Now, Port-au-Prince is one of the more rustic, large cities. It's a city of about 150,000 people with no running water. So let's put it that way. And we stay with Father at his parish.
But I'm going to ask you another question. When you say no running water, how are they supplied fresh water to live on then? Where do they get it from?
It gets trucked in, and they will go with buckets to water distribution points and fill up a 5-gallon bucket and bring water back to their home. There will be people walking through traffic selling water actually in plastic bags. They bag it, and people will buy it, and they'll just put it off a corner and drink it. It's a constant battle to go and find
just
water.
Something as simple as going in our kitchen and turning on a faucet seems so easy for us. And here you're telling me that people are struggling every day to get drinking water.
And we never once think about where our next drink of water is going to come from.
Yeah.
So we'll stay with Father. It's hot. There's very little air conditioning. It's difficult to sleep sometimes. It's dusty. It's loud. It's frankly fragrant. There's not a lot of... I'll just leave it at that.
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure.
But it'll turn out to be, everyone I've gone with has come back and said it's one of the most powerful and one of the most moving and important things that they've done.
Yeah.
And we call it a reverse mission, because you tend to get more out of it than you put into it spiritually. And you come back, and for a while, you're just more than happy to be back in the U.S. and being in our comfortable beds and comfortable home, but after a while you get that itch, and it's time to go back.
Yeah, I would think you could lay in your bed here in comfortable United States and start having those visions again of Haiti and knowing how those people are struggling just on an everyday basis to stay hydrated and to, how is the food there? I mean, how is the food? Do they struggle for food every day, Jim?
Yeah, they do. They do.
What primarily do they eat in Haiti?
Well,
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans, I guess.
Rice and beans.
Yeah. And the school kids, for example, when our parish originally became involved, we didn't become involved with a parish so much as we became involved first with a Catholic school down there.
Okay.
And that school provides 1 meal a day for those kids. And for many of those kids, maybe most of them, that's all they're going to get in the course of a day is that meal.
That one meal.
Yeah.
Can I tell a little story about food?
Please.
This really stuck with me on my first trip. Children are especially vulnerable to hunger.
Yes.
And 50% of all children under the age of 5 in Haiti are malnourished. That's a huge number. I mean, it's a mind-boggling number. They might get a meal at school, like Jim was saying. They might not get a meal for 2 days. Malnutrition at that point of development is tragic.
Oh, it's critical.
Terrible.
It's critical.
But what really stuck with me was sometimes the parent won't have any money to buy food. So what they'll do is they'll buy something called a rice cake. I'm sorry, not a rice cake. They'll buy a mud cake. And what this is people will take dirt and they'll mix a little oil in, they'll mix a little salt in, they'll pat it out into a little patty, and they'll bake it in the sun. And then they sell it for a few goods, a few pennies. And a parent will buy this. It has no nutritional value. They'll break off a piece and they'll give it to their child, and their child will eat it. It has a little taste from the oil and the salt. And it'll put something in their stomach, take away the pain for a little while. But it gains no nutritional value. But they do what they have to do.
Yeah.
And I walked by in Port-au-Prince on the street seeing mud cakes for sale on the side of the street. Just tragic.
How blessed we are. How blessed we are when I think about that. What would be the average income for a Haitian? Do you have any idea?
I do. I know these numbers, yeah. The average per capita income is $660 US.
Per year?
Per year. Now that's everybody. That includes the wealthy people.
The teachers.
50% of Haitians live in what is called abject poverty. They live on less than $1 US per day. Now, if you can do the math, that's about $360 a year.
Yes.
And things cost money in Haiti.
Of course.
They're not really a whole lot cheaper. So think of how far $360 go and what you would have to do just to stay alive day after day.
Maureen, when you were there, you were walking around seeing this poverty. What was the most striking to you of all the things you saw?
The children were still smiling every day. That's all you saw was smiles on their face. They weren't crying, they weren't complaining, they were happy to see you. A lot of them did ask for milk.
For milk?
Or American pennies at the time, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they were always smiling. So
it's amazing how they find joy in the midst of the abject poverty.
But
and
they
yet
don't,
they can keep a smile on their face.
They've never seen anything differently.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Jim, when you were there, what was the most striking thing for you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to categorize it like that. One thing I would say that struck me was the juxtaposition of the poverty that the people are living in with this remarkably beautiful portion of the earth that they sit on.
Yes.
I mean, when we took the boat out from the mainland out to the island, and it's probably a 30-mile trip in about a 18-foot boat with a couple of 15-horse 700 motors on it, the water is so blue you just can't believe it. I mean, I told people when I got back and showed them the photographs, they were asking me if I retouched them or did something to make it that blue, and I didn't. It's really a really beautiful place.
They live in that beautiful area there, but just the poverty is so profound, and the government really has no money either. Correct? I mean, it's a poor country, and they've been struck by a lot of disasters over there too in Haiti. So they're constantly rebuilding. And of course, what's to rebuild? The infrastructure, there's not much infrastructure there. Right. They have, like I said, they have probably no sanitation, any type of sanitary sewers.
It's limited.
Correct?
Very limited infrastructure, very limited capacity to build infrastructure.
Okay.
A lot of what does get built gets built by other countries that come in.
Okay.
And it's entertaining to go around the city with Patrick, wonderful Patrick, our guide and interpreter and friend, and he'll tell us, yeah, this road was built by the Chinese three years ago. They don't send the money in anymore because the money would just go somewhere.
Right.
So they just come in and build it
it doesn't go to where they want it to go. How was your parish responding to you and the outcry for the Haitians?
Oh, it's so strong.
Is it?
I mentioned earlier, people want to help. They want to be helpful. And I've been in this position myself. When you have a vague need, please give money to, because we need it.
Right.
And you, and you write a little check and you don't get really all that interested. When you connect people with faces and stories and your own personal experiences, then they come forward and say, okay, how can I help?
Yeah.
And then when you take away those kind of nagging concerns about, well, I gave some money, but I don't know if I'm paying for someone to fly down there. You take all that away. Yeah. And then it just goes
Once
crazy.
you peel that onion and you get down to the fact that this money is 100% for the Haitian people, that really opens up, and it opens up hearts and it opens up wallets and pocketbooks.
It's an overwhelming response. Yeah.
How has your parish been with that?
Well, I think we've done a real good job in a tough economy. I mean, if you think about what Michigan's been through in the last 5 or 10 years, it's been difficult, and our parish has kept its nose to the grindstone and done everything we've hoped it would do. One thing I did want to point out, though, is it's instrumental, I think, in getting the parish involved to let them know about the kids, because people love kids and they want to know what the situation is for kids. And there's lots of kids down there because, frankly, the life expectancy isn't real long in Haiti.
Exactly.
We were in a church service down there where there were probably 300 or 400 people in the church. I was with Mark and I looked around, and I'm older than he is, and I looked around, and at the time I was 55, and I was the oldest person in that church. And I mean, it's very young. It's a very young
The
country.
life expectancy is 61.
61.
Yeah. which is younger every year I get older, but that's still pretty
Yeah,
young.
one thing that people in our church found fascinating, for example, is that the Haitian kids, when you go down there and you take a camera down and you're taking pictures of the kids, and nowadays the cameras, the digital ones, will show you the photograph on the back. As soon as you take their picture, they come and they almost want to grab the camera right out of your hand so they can look and see what they look like, because there are no mirrors down there. The whole time I was down there with Mark, I saw one mirror the whole time I was in Haiti.
Isn't that amazing? They get to see themselves for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. In the little bit of time we have left, I just kind of a 30 seconds, what would you tell the people listening today? What would you tell our audience about Haiti and the need?
Well, I would say the need there is as great as it is anywhere in this part of the world.
Okay.
If you're moved, if you're interested, learn more, contact one of us, there's someone in many churches.
How would they contact you?
Through you. They'll ask you.
Call Catholic Forum and we'll get you.
Exactly.
Get you
They'll
contact.
connect us, and we'll tell you more about it, because the need
Or
is
could they
so
call your
great.
parish?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they can get in touch with us through St. Paul the Apostle.
St. Paul the Apostle. Wonderful.
And we'll help you understand how you can get involved, because the need is so great. You don't have to do very much on our end to make a big difference on their end.
Yeah.
And you'll find that it's one of the best things you can do, not just for them, but for yourself.
Amen. Maureen, what would you tell people?
I think pretty much the same thing. Open up your heart. There is a great need out there, but you have to want to do it.
Exactly.
And it's very, very rewarding.
Yeah. I think you said it too, it's reverse mission, because I know the times I've gone and times I've even done prison ministry or nursing home ministry, I get more out of those than what they get from me. And it's really an outpouring of your own spirit that really brings that reward to. Jim, what would you say?
I always go back to some words of Jesus where he's talking with some people and telling them that talking is what it may be in the afterlife when you get to the pearly gates and you're talking about it, and he says, what you did for the least of my brothers, you did for me. When you fed me, when you gave me drink. And they say, well, we don't remember giving you food or drink. And he said, what you did for the least of my brothers, you did for me.
That's right.
And these are the least of our brothers. You can't find poorer people on the face of the planet.
No.
You can't.
And when you see, I'm sure the reward is so great just to see the smile on these people's faces, just to welcome you and have you there, because it's got to be it's got to be refreshing to see, for the Haitians, to see people who care deeply about them and really have this love of the Lord. And I'm sure you bring that love of the Lord to them. Is the vast majority of Haitians Catholic?
Haiti is a predominantly Catholic country, I think up to 75%.
Okay.
It's a paradox in that many of them also practice traditional voodoo.
Oh, yeah.
But I won't go into that. But
they haven't been taught.
We've been in Catholic churches, and let me tell you, the Spirit is alive and talking very loudly in the Catholic churches in Haiti.
Wonderful.
Not anything like the United States.
Oh boy, I don't know.
We need to take some lessons. We need to take some lessons. I would agree. We've got to get our Catholics back engaged in our churches. But I want to thank the three of you, really, because this has been an eye-opener for me, too. Really have an understanding of going to God's people where they are, not letting them come to us, but we're going to them to really serve them in a profound way and to bring the love of the Lord to them. And these people who probably never get to see a parish priest very often, who probably never really enjoy the Eucharist, they really see the body of Christ come with the three of you, and that is it's a profound understanding of serving Jesus and his people. So I want to thank you. Thank you so much for being who you are.
Thank you for having
Maureen,
us.
thank you so much. And Jim, thank you for
you.
being here. I appreciate that, and I'd like to get you back one day and talk more about the understanding of missionary to this too, okay? And I want to thank all those people watching today. And as always, we give all praise to Jesus Christ in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.